you think that, time is going to change, with age they are going to become good, and if you give them money, things are going to be okay, they are going to treat you right, you will forever be treated like a piece of shit. Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about, the different ways, the cruel ways narcissistic parents punish their adult children, for an uncontrollable spouse. So different ways these narcissistic parents, punish their adult children. Whenever these narcissistic parents fail to control their adult children's spouse, yeah, not everyone is a fool, not everyone is going to play along, not everyone is going to tolerate their bullshit, yeah. So it's a very bad thing, it's a bad and a sad thing for these narcissistic parents when, they are unable to control their adult children's spouse. Yeah, so every time they fail to control and manipulate and exploit and extort things out of their adult children's spouse, they are not going to punish that, spouse directly, but they are going to punish their adult children. Yeah, they are going to hold them accountable, they are going to manipulate them, they are going to shame them, criticize them, guilt trip them, do all sorts of things with their adult child. Yeah, so they are going to manipulate their adult child. Yeah, they are going to tell their adult child that you need to control your wife, you need to control your husband, you need to manage your spouse. They are so disrespectful, they are not respecting me, they are not honoring us, our tradition, our system. So they have a lot of tricks. They are not going to, expose themselves as, abusive, assholes. So they operate indirectly rather than in some of the cases. I have seen narcissistic parents antagonizing and torturing and abusing and manipulating the spouse, their adult children's spouse. But in majority of the cases, they do it indirectly, yeah, so that their work is done and they are not to be blamed. Yeah, your husband is slapping you, I'm not slapping, I'm just insinuating, I'm just triggering, I'm just, provoking your husband. Yeah, I'm just provoking my son. What my son is doing later is his problem and your problem. Yeah, but I mean we know who the root cause is. The root cause is, these narcissistic parents, and they have a lot of tricks up their sleeves. So that is the reason I keep telling everyone, whoever I come across or whoever I work with, that if you see the signs that your spouse's, parents are narcissistic, start using boundaries. Yeah, because if you don't use boundary, yeah, they're going to screw your married life, they are going to screw everything. Yeah, so you have to stand up for yourself. Don't expect that your, spouse, your partner is going to protect you. Yeah, because they had been surviving, they had been, living with that abusive parent. Yeah, they couldn't even protect themselves. What do you expect from them? Are they going to protect you? No, don't get into all that. They are never going to stand up for you, they are never going to protect you. You have to protect your own self. Yeah, and then you can protect them and, protect your children. Yeah, but don't expect your trauma bonded spouse, adult children of narcissistic parents, to come and aid you and protect you and stand up for you. They won't be, able to do anything. Yeah, they are scared of their abusive parents. Yeah, so don't expect them to protect you from, their abusive parent. They are not going to do that. So you protect your own self, you stand up for yourself. Yeah, so now coming to, the different ways these narcissistic parents, punish their adult children, you know because of their uncontrollable spouse. The first way is these narcissistic parents are going to demonize the spouse. Yeah, they are going to label the spouse as toxic, controlling, manipulative, and this is basically to turn others against them. Yeah, my daughter-in-law is horrible, my son-in-law is horrible, they are so controlling, so toxic, so abusive, and she's stolen my son, she's taken my son. Oh God, I, feel so bad and miserable. Did what not, for my son. I sacrificed this and that, and look, this new girl has come in his life and he's forgotten me. So these narcissistic parents are good with, theatrics and drama, and they are very good in demonizing the spouse and labeling them as toxic, manipulative, controlling. And this is basically to isolate, the spouse from the rest of the family. She's a bad daughter-in-law, he's a bad son-in-law, and that's it. And that's how, they are going to, punish, their own, adult child. Yeah, because they are unable to control the spouse. So plus they have to preserve their image, so they are not going to, tell the spouse directly, their adult children's spouse directly. They are going to start demonizing, the spouse, I mean the adult child's spouse, that your wife is this, your wife is that, and this and that. They are going to tell their adult child, plus they are going to tell other family members. Yeah, and this is basically to make them feel bad. Yeah, that there's something wrong with your spouse, there's something wrong with your partner, there's something wrong with your wife, there's something wrong with your husband. They're going to tell you, they are going to tell others. And this is basically to paint your spouse as the bad one, yeah, as the rotten apple, yeah, in the lot. And this is basically to distort the way how people are perceiving your spouse. Yeah, this is basically to ostracize and isolate, and just you can say, to sabotage, your spouse. Yeah, they are going to do all sorts of smear campaign. They are going to demonize the spouse, that the problem is with the spouse and not them. Yeah, they're never going to talk about the horrible ways they have treated their adult children's spouse. They're not going to talk about that. The easiest thing is just label the spouse. Oh, she's so mean, she's so selfish, she's so controlling, manipulative, she's horrible, she's ruined my son's life, he's ruined my daughter's life, and that's it. The other cruel way narcissistic parents punish their adult children for an uncontrollable spouse is by smearing the spouse's reputation. So narcissistic parents are going to spread lies to families, friends, and even co-workers to damage their social standing. Yeah, so they are going to spread lies, in front of your sibling, other family members. And again, this is basically to isolate, ostracize the spouse. They are going to run smear campaign. They are going to tell you that she's characterless, she's not fit for this family, he's not fit for this family. They are going to tell their adult children, plus they are going to tell others as well. Yeah, so they are going to operate, you can say, indirectly. They are not going to come into the scene and tell the spouse directly, I mean their adult children's spouse, that you need to do this and this. They are going to ostracize them. They are going to isolate them. And how do they do that? By constantly smearing in front of their adult child, in front of the other relatives, in some of the cases co-workers. And I have seen in some of the cases, these narcissistic in-laws had been smear campaigning and smearing the girl's image and reputation in front of her co-workers and colleagues. Yeah, so they are sick individuals. Yeah, so if they perceive anything as a threat, they will go to any extent to destroy you and to erase you from the face of earth. Yeah, that's how things are with these narcissistic individuals. The other cruel way these narcissistic parents punish their adult children for an uncontrollable spouse is by playing victim. So they will create drama. They will claim that the spouse has stolen their son or daughter, and they'll portray themselves as abandoned and mistreated. Well, she's so filled with ego, she's this, she's that, she doesn't treat us right. And they are going to play victim in front of the others. They are going to play victim in front of their adult child, plus they are going to play victim in front of the others. And they're going to summon their flying monkeys, their enablers, and everyone is going to reach out to you. Yeah, that your wife is not treating your mother right, your wife is not treating your father right, your husband is not treating your mother right. Yeah, and you automatically feel pressured. So these narcissistic parents are you know horrible individuals. Yeah, they have a lot of dirty tricks up their sleeve. They are not going to tell you things directly. They are going to torture your spouse. They're going to say things via their flying monkey, their enabler, this relative, this sibling, that auntie. Yeah, so these narcissistic parents are big time into playing victim in front of the others. And this is basically to create that pressure on your spouse. Yeah, when they are unable to control you, manipulate you, extort things out of you, they will start pressurizing your spouse, I mean their adult child. The other cruel way these narcissistic parents punish their adult child for an uncontrollable spouse is by guilt tripping their adult child. They are going to tell their adult child, you have changed since marriage, you don't love your family anymore, you have forgotten everything since the time you have got married, since the time you are in love, you got married, you have forgotten your mother, you have forgotten your father. And this is again, basic guilt tripping, yeah, so that the child feels obligated, the child feels guilty, the child feels like a bad person for prioritizing his family, I mean the family that he has created. And then he starts abandoning and betraying the family that he has created, his wife, his children, and starts prioritizing the narcissistic parent. Then things are okay, good, he gets some kind of crumbs every now and then. But it's really toxic, for the family that he has created. It's toxic for his wife, I mean, her husband, children. So, these narcissistic parents are victim into using, guilt trip, yeah, to punish their adult child. Whenever they fail to control their adult child's spouse, they will guilt trip their child, yeah, and not the spouse, yeah, because they have to preserve the image. Plus, it's like a covert operation, so they have to do it indirectly. They cannot, come out and be exposed as a fucked up person. They cannot be seen as the bad one. Yeah, so keep playing victim, keep guilt tripping, and let the son take it from there. Yeah, I will guilt trip my son, and the son is going to now fight with the wife. The son is going to do what's necessary and important. Yeah, so that's how wicked these narcissistic parents are. The other cruel way these narcissistic parents punish their adult children for an uncontrollable spouse is by creating drama and fake crisis. So these narcissistic parents are constantly into seeking attention with sudden illness, financial problem, emotional breakdowns, to pull their child away from their marriages. Yeah, all of a sudden they are going to fake illness. Oh, my leg is not working. Oh, I'm about to die. Oh, your dad is extremely sick. Oh god, we have got this problem. Oh god, we've got that problem. They're going to cry, howl, put up a show. They're going to bring in their pimps, their enablers, their flying monkeys, and and all of them are going to gang up, and they are going to pressurize you. Yeah, and this is basically to pull your attention away from your family, your wife, your husband, your children, your work, your career, and to bring your attention back onto them. Yeah, yeah, I mean they really don't care that all of these things are going to jeopardize your position, your relationship, your career, your well-being. They just don't care. They want to be in the limelight, they want to be the showstopper, and that's it. Yeah, so they have a lot of tricks. They are big time into creating drama, faking crisis. They are going to tell you, well, we have got this problem, financial problem, that problem, and they're going to guilt trip you to such an extent that you will feel obligated. Yeah, you will stop paying for your child's fees and tuition, and you will start giving that money to your mother to pay off her debt, and to get rid of her problem. You will stop prioritizing your child, your wife, your husband, and you will start prioritizing your narcissistic parent. So these narcissistic parents are expert in creating drama and fake crisis, and all of it is basically to guilt trip their adult child. And why do they do that? Because they are failing, somewhere or the other they are unable to control their adult child's spouse. So now how do they bring back the adult child's attention onto them? How do they stop their adult child from focusing and prioritizing his wife or her husband? By shifting his or her focus back onto them, I mean the narcissistic parent, by creating drama, fake crisis, all those emotional breakdowns. And they have a lot of bullshit tricks up their sleeve, let me tell you honestly. I mean the only way is to go no contact or limit your contact. If you think you can live under the same roof and you can thrive, trust me, you will be having lots of disease, health problem. You will never be successful. Yeah, I mean they are going to take you down the drain, plus they are going to take your spouse, take your children. They're going to ruin everyone's life till the time they are alive. So you need to contain them in a specific place. Yeah, you cannot be with them and expect magic and miracles to happen. You will only see change happening in your life when you isolate yourself, when you distance yourself from them. Yeah, that is the time when you will see that some tiny bit of positive changes are happening with you. But till the time you're with them, enmeshed, bonded, trust me, only shit is going to happen, and you'll keep on wondering, cursing and cribbing the fate, destiny, God. You'll blame them, you'll blame this and that, and you will be confused. Again, cognitive dissonance has a huge role to play, because it's difficult. Yeah, tomorrow again you have to reach out to them, tomorrow again you have to crawl back to them. Yeah, because you have got one mother, one father, and both of them are abusers. They are your first abusers, your first bully, and it becomes very difficult for the child to accept. But trust me, the sooner you have radical acceptance, the better for you. But if you think that time is going to change, with age they are going to become good, and if you give them money, things are going to be okay, they are going to treat you right, you will forever be treated like piece of shit. Yeah, and you will be a shit in your life till the time you are enmeshed with them. Yeah, because they did not bring you in this world so that you can be successful and become an independent individual. You only become successful when you are independent. Yeah, you only become successful when you are regulated, when you are healthy, when you are healed. You don't become successful when you are having emotional baggages. You don't become successful when you are waking up every day with guilt and shame and obligation. No, you won't become successful. Yeah, so I mean, things are pretty complicated, but that's how things are. I mean, I personally feel that if you are married to a narcissist, that's still better. But if you're raised by narcissistic parents, you're destroyed for life. Let me tell you honestly, I was married to a narcissist, I was raised by narcissistic parents, and whenever I weigh both the situations, I personally feel um, I was set up for failure. I was trained and groomed to attract more abusive people in life. Yeah. I was trained to, keep hoping, that things will change. I was trained and conditioned to shape shift. I was trained and conditioned to people please. I was trained and conditioned to suffer in silence. Yeah. I mean, with narcissistic relationships, if you get into narcissistic relationship with narcissistic wife or narcissistic husband, you can always exit, you can always end the relationship. You can always use boundary. But when you are raised by narcissistic parents, trust me, you're crippled, beyond imagination, and you have to suffer. Let me tell you honestly, till the time they are alive, or if you don't have the ability to go no contact and limit your contact, you will suffer. No one is going to rescue you, no one is going to save you. Everyone is going to pull you down, they are going to drain you. And I mean, you will have a lot of crisis. You will experience midlife crisis, if you are still emotionally bonded and infused and enmeshed with them. You need to, cut the cord. Yeah, and only then you will flourish. Only then you will evolve, grow, thrive. Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, you will have to keep lying to yourself. You will have to keep blaming luck and destiny, and that's how you will have to spend your life. But the sooner you have radical acceptance that okay, all parents are not that great, my parents were pretty abusive, okay, I accept that, and I choose to emotionally distance myself, and I choose to heal myself, things will change. But if you want to stay in that delulu land, and if you want to lie to yourself, lie others, well, they are because of their backstory. The world made them a bad parent, others influenced them, this relative made them do this relative, you're simply fooling yourself, trust me. Yeah, and you know the biggest sign is that you are still stuck with them, you are still a piece of shit for them, you are still not getting validation, you are still not getting the right treatment that you deserve, you are not being respected, your authenticity is not appreciated, and you are just used for their convenience, and for their wants, needs, and desire. I mean, whatever they want. So I get it. I mean, you can soothe yourself by lying to yourself and to the others, but the fact remains unchanged. Yeah, and that is that they bred you for return, and they don't have your best interest. Yeah, so you need to wake up, and you need to start doing things what's best for you. The other cruel way these narcissistic parents punish their adult children for an uncontrollable spouse is by sabotaging special events. So narcissistic parents are going to ruin holidays, birthdays, anniversaries by causing arguments, making demands, or refusing to attend. Yeah, so I mean, if it's your anniversary or if it's some celebration, they are going to refuse, or they're going to create drama, they are going to put up a show, and all of it is basically to tell you that you need to control your spouse, otherwise we are not going to come. You need to tame and control and you know uh, manage your spouse, otherwise you are going to lose us. Yeah, this is basically to sabotage all the special events, and to pass across this message that if you don't get your spouse to comply to us, if you don't get your spouse to obey us, we are not going to be a part of your happy time, happy moment. Or if you are going to go out on a holiday or vacation, or if you are celebrating something, they are going to make sure that they will ruin it. Yeah, they will guilt trip you, and all of it is basically to tell you that uh, control and manage your spouse. Tell your spouse to obey us. Tell your spouse to serve us. Yeah. So that's how crazy these narcissistic parents are. Really selfish, really manipulative. I mean, they have zero empathy. They just don't care about your feelings, your spouse's feeling, your children's feeling. They're not concerned. All what they're concerned about is how well you can make them feel good. Yeah, to what extent you can go to serve them, please them, and make them feel good. That's it. The other cruel way these narcissistic parents punish their adult children for an uncontrollable spouse is with triangulation and turning others against them. They are going to recruit siblings, relatives, or mutual friends to apply pressure on the couple. So if they are failing to control your spouse, they are not going to tell you directly. I mean, initially they are going to give you some hints and reminders, but then they are going to recruit siblings, they are going to recruit other relatives, family friends, mutual friends, and this is basically to apply pressure indirectly. Yeah, so if your spouse is not obeying them, if they are not going to tell you directly, they are going to tell your sibling. Your sibling is going to tell you that why isn't the sister-in-law speaking to mom, why isn't the son-in-law speaking to dad. Yeah, so your sibling is then going to do a number on you. Yeah, and this narcissistic parent gets to preserve their victimhood and that victim image, and others do their dirty work. Yeah, others come into the scene, and then they guilt trip you. Yeah, and the entire goal is you know to establish control over your spouse. Yeah, they have been controlling you, now they want to control your spouse, they want to control and micromanage your children's life, they want to micromanage your family personal life as well. Yeah, they want to control every aspect of your life. Why? Because they bred you, they put in their semen, they put in their eggs, and they created you. They did the bare minimum for 3 4 years, and then they set you up for more failure. They parentified you, they established emotional incest, they did all sorts of things, and that's it. Now you just have to keep giving them whatever they want out of you. So these narcissistic parents are big time into punishing their children. Yeah, whenever they get this narcissistic injury, or whenever they perceive anything as threat, they are going to come at you. They are not going to forgive you. They will teach you a lesson. Yeah, so if they are unable to control and manipulate your spouse, they are going to hurt you, they are going to torment you and torture you. And in some of the cases, yes, they are going to do it directly. Plus, in a lot other cases, I have seen that they will do it in a very coverted way. It's a kind of a covert operation. Indirectly, your sibling is talking on your mother's behalf, your brother is talking on your father's behalf, your auntie is talking on your mother's behalf. Yeah, so they have their own unique ways. And trust me, you are in that self-destructive state till the time they are alive. Once they are dead and gone, or you go no contact, you will start healing, you will start prioritizing your own self, you will engage in self-love and self-care. But till the time they are there, they will shift your focus, they will shift your attention from your own life back onto them. Yeah? The other cruel way narcissistic parents punish their adult child for an uncontrollable spouse is by refusing to acknowledge the spouse, ignoring them at family events, refusing to learn their name or pretending they don't exist. Yeah, they are going to treat your spouse as an invisible entity. They are not going to talk, they are not going to engage, or they are going to just treat them as an invisible person, as if they don't exist. And this is basically to pass across this message that you're not listening to me, you're not complying to the things that I'm telling you, you're not obeying me, you're not pleasing me, so now I will treat you as an invisible entity. You don't exist, which is fine. I mean, like, it's absolutely okay, as long as these motherfucking in-laws, they don't interact, they stay away. I mean, it's fine. I mean, you really don't need their attention, trust me, to tell you honestly, to all those spouses who are married to adult children who are raised by narcissistic parents, you really don't need their attention. So if you are being ignored, please feel good, enjoy that time, use that time to do something good. Don't seek their attention. I mean, just count days. The sooner they are dead, the better for you. Yeah. Or if your spouse has this some kind of awakening, and if they have some kind of self-respect, then things might be better. Otherwise, you have to fight for yourself, you have to protect yourself. And trust me, if they are ignoring, if they are avoiding, it's good for you. Yeah. So don't seek an apology from them. Don't expect them to express remorse or gratitude or apologize for their bad behavior, or the mistreatment that they have done with you. Don't expect all of that. If they are silent, if they are away, it's good for you. Don't poke, don't provoke, just stay away and fight for yourself. You have to fight and protect yourself, your spouse in some of the cases, and your children. Nobody is going to stand up with you. Yeah, because everyone is going to stand against you. Yeah, remember, it's a circus. Yeah, you have got into a circus, so everyone is going to cooperate. You are the odd one out, so you have to fight for yourself and protect yourself. The other cruel way narcissistic parents punish their adult children for an uncontrollable spouse is with financial manipulation. So they are going to withhold inheritance, financial support, or use money as a tool to create division. So they are going to tell you, well, I'm not going to give you inheritance. Your wife has not served me. I'm not going to give you any inheritance because your husband has not served me. Yeah. So they are going to tell you that, sweetie, you are not going to get this carrot because your wife is not obeying, your wife is not complying, your wife is not serving us. Yeah. So you're not going to get inheritance, you're not going to get the good stuff. Those who are going to serve me will get a share of inheritance. So these assholes are like that. Yeah. So it's better to have nothing, yeah, rather than losing everything and get tiny bit of things. I mean, at the expense and at the cost of ruining your life, your personal life, your life with the family that you have created. Please don't get into that. Yeah, that carrot is not going to give you peace. Yeah, but the family that you have created out of love, the family that you have started, trust me, that is going to be there with you. These narcissistic parents are going to abuse you, extort things out of you, and they are going to die. Yeah. So their inheritance is also cursed. Yeah, their money is also cursed. So don't have such high hopes and expectations. And if they are saying that they are going to disown you, or they are not going to give you any inheritance just because your spouse is not playing along, just tell them that it's okay, thank you so much, you can keep it to yourself, I don't need it. Yeah. Don't jeopardize your relationship with your spouse. These fuckers are going to die and go away, and trust me, you will have to spend your life with your spouse. Yeah. So don't ruin that relationship for these you know retards and these assholes. And the last cruel way these narcissistic parents punish their adult children, for an uncontrollable spouse, is by threatening no contact or actually doing it. Yeah, so they are going to give you ultimatums, cutting ties, or emotionally blackmailing, their child into compliance. So they are going to tell you, well, your wife hardly talks to me, your, husband hardly talks to me. I mean, what is it? I mean, this is not what family is. Family is where everyone is together and this and that. So they will have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. Trust me, if you are, trauma bonded with your narcissistic parents, and if your spouse is using boundaries, if your spouse is trying to protect herself or himself, don't push them in front of these wolves. Yeah, just to please your parents, don't jeopardize, the mental health and well-being of your spouse, because these assholes are going to destroy your spouse as well. Your spouse is a kind of a window of fresh air, so preserve that window. Yeah, preserve that, spot from where you are getting some amount of positivity and some amount of happiness. Don't ruin that in the process of pleasing these assholes. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't jeopardize your relationship with your spouse. Don't get carried away with their, all those sob stories and manipulation and all those guilt trips. Don't do that. I mean, if they are telling you that, they are going to go no contact with you because, they are unable to control and manipulate your spouse, tell them it's your wish. Yeah, but I will not force and jeopardize my relationship with my spouse. I'm not going to, traumatize her, or I'm not going to pressure her or force her. Yeah, so prioritize your spouse, because you have to spend the rest of your life with your spouse. And if your spouse is good, loves you, please, I mean, at least, let her, protect herself. I get it, you are emotionally enmeshed, you are emotionally trauma bonded, you are victim of emotional incest. I get all of that. It might be very difficult for you, but at least let her protect herself. If you can't protect her, but let her protect herself, that's it. Yeah, that's the least that you can do. And trust me, it is going to help you. It is going to, give you good return. Yeah, so I mean, let them protect themselves, I mean, your spouse. And don't force your parents onto your spouse. These, parasites are yours to deal with. Yeah, and they are not your, spouse's responsibility. Yeah, so foster a healthy relationship. Prioritize your spouse, prioritize, the family that you have created, prioritize your kids. And that's it. I mean, don't fight with your spouse, you know uh, because of your narcissistic parents, their guilt trips, their pressure, and their manipulation. Don't do that. Otherwise, you will be all alone. Trust me, these narcissistic parents don't want you to be happy. They might say that go ahead and get married, go ahead and start a family, but deep inside they hate it. Yeah, I mean, they don't want to be seen as a bad parent, so they might allow you to get married, but they want to control your married life as well. Yeah, so they are not really giving you, the access key to your freedom. Instead, they are controlling you under the guise of care, concern, family. This is how it is from ancient time, all that bullshit, all those jargon that is, thrown at us. So, don't get carried away. And protect your spouse. Yeah, I mean, don't jeopardize your personal relationship because of your narcissistic parents. Yeah, so yes, these were, some of the ways how these narcissistic parents, punish their adult children. Whenever these narcissistic parents are unable to control their, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, whenever they are unable to abuse and exploit the daughter-in-law or son-in-law, then they don't, you know target them directly. They target them indirectly. They start punishing their adult child. Yeah, so now I'm going to ignore and punish my adult child. Now my adult child is going to do the things on my behalf. Yeah, and only an asshole adult child is going to, spoil their relationship with their spouse. Those who have some amount of brain, those who have, some amount of sense and, functionality, I mean, still intact, you know in and around the gray matter, they are not going to fight with their spouse. Yeah, I get it. I mean, you can have, whatever kind of relationship with your parent, but don't jeopardize your personal relationship, because of their negative influence. Don't do that. Yeah, otherwise you are going to be a loser, from all sides. So yes, this was it. In case if you would like to add in something, you can always comment below. Till then, take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings to all of you. Bye.